And a chance yet also get your 50-50 tickets. Buy early and buy often. Plenty of big jackpots throughout the 2011 season. Hopefully we can get another big one here tonight. We're back underway. And field heads through turns 1 and 2. Have to be a little bit careful going through turns 1 and 2. And you see just why as John Green and a host of others go off the speedway. Nolan Swamp has the lead. And John Green is helpless down there in between turns 1 and 2 as he is stuck in the mud down there trying to get the car backed up, but he may need some help over there.
Well, that'll probably bring out the yellow flag from Chris Castell as John Green not able to get away under his own power. Going to need to
give up their primary car in order to allow for some new drivers to jump in, or of course somebody makes them a good offer on it and wants to buy it, they will do so. But good to see Joe with us once again, and we're back underway. Field gets spread out single file here. We're going to try the single file thing through turns 1 and 2. And we get through a little bit cleaner over there in 1 and 2, but Nolan Swamp has the early advantage. Daryl Mitchell in the 37 back there in the runner-up spot. Then it is Bennett White in the 68. Good to see Bennett back with us one more time. Of course, last week's winner Owen White back there behind him in 4th. And Brian, your good buddy Ernie Cree rounds out the top 5.
Ernie Cree looking to move his way up through the field. The track continues to be a little bit slippery for these guys, but like I said, come feature time, it should be good to go. Leading in first now is the number 1 of Nolan Swamp, as at turn 1 and 2 seems to be the hot button issue. Great power coming out of 2, but getting into 1 seems to be the question mark this evening as Nolan Swamp continues to lead as we've got 2 in the books.
And Nolan Swamp with a sizable margin right now over Daryl Mitchell, who's got his hands full with the 68 of Bennett White. Owen White back there in the 4th spot, lurking behind these drivers. And Owen, of course, we mentioned earlier, won last week. He's got 3 wins on the season this year. And Nolan Swamp surprisingly hasn't had any wins, but he's only run a handful of shows with us, and he's been very, very fast as well. And looks pretty strong so far here as he comes off of turn number 4, and he has got quite the lead out there with 2 more laps to go.
Nolan Swamp had quite the hot shoe the last few weeks here, and like I said, he suffered some mechanical issues that took him out come feature time or during the feature, that, if you will. And as you see there, Owen White able to get by the 68 machine of Bennett White as they go into turns 1 and 2, 4 in the books. Nolan Swamp continues to lead.
Now, of course, we've seen in this division a lot of former Enduro drivers. Of course, the Enduro class no longer here at Mohawk, but a lot of those former Enduro drivers, you see them on a track like this, and they immediately venture to the top side, and that's where Nolan Swamp is right now, and he is loving every minute of this. Of course, Owen White, a little bit surprised he hasn't ventured towards the top of the speedway and taken his normal high road around here to get to the front, but he rides in 3rd. But Nolan Swamp has just been untouchable and lapping cars at will as he comes up on the back bumper of Corey Castell, who pushed up a little bit, made it just a little bit exciting for him, but in any event, he will win this one handily.
So Nolan Swamp, the number 1 car, is your heat race winner for the Bandit division. Coming in 2nd is Daryl Mitchell, the ON of Owen White, the 68 of Bennett White, and in the 5th position will be the 18 of Ernie Cree. Next up on the field for us, Tim, I believe we have turnkey operation for these mini mods. They do produce some pretty good speeds, Tim.
Absolutely, and of course, a couple of weeks ago on the All-Star Sprint Night, we saw a couple of these cars behind us, behind the grandstands. Green flag is out, and they're going to take it a little easy. Well, we already had contact between one. Now we got a couple of cars coming together as well in turn number 1, but they straighten themselves out, and your early leader is the 46 of Dave Bell, the 7 of LaFramboise back there in the runner-up spot. Also the 88 of Matthew Robinson moving up through the field very quickly here. Up in front, Dave Bell is going to lead the opening lap for the mini-mods.
And starting to gain some ground on the top 2 is the 88 of Matthew Robinson, as Dave Bell continues to lead now as they go into 1 and 2. Behind him is the Sylvain Laframboise car, and 1, 2, and 3 right there. Some very good racing as they head into turns 3 and 4.
And right now, Dave Bell in that 46 does have some company. Of course, as we wanted to mention, this track's still a little bit slick out there, so drivers kind of taking their time to a certain extent, but they still want to be very racy, and that's what the top 3 are doing right now is LaFramboise and the number 88 of Robinson battle in the top 3. Then it's the 30 of Lemieux back there in 4th. 5th is the 30L of Tim Reef. So Tim having a good showing so far, and you see cars starting to venture to the top side, but Dave Bell very content to stay in the middle of the racetrack at halfway.
Very, very good field of mini mods here this evening. Dave Bell continues to lead as they go into turns 1 and 2. Now coming up on the outside, it will be the 88 machine of Matthew Robinson looking to make a move coming out of 2. He's going to be looking for the lead as they head into turns 3 and 4.
And what a power move on the top side by Matthew Robinson, going from third to first at one corner there. He'll come by with 2 more laps to go. And Austin says to Robinson, you got a healthy lead out there. You can kind of take your time, as Dave Bell holding everybody at bay here for spot number 2, the 30 of Tim Reef back there in the number 4 spot, using that top side as well. Looks like that outside group's starting to work itself in now. White flag being displayed, and I'll tell you what, Robinson's putting on a clinic here late in the going.
Well, I'll have to double check and see if that's Tim Reef Jr. or Senior. If it's Tim Reef Senior, he was a long-time pit crew member for Billy Woodard here back in the day of the 56 machine in the modified division. And if not, it's his son, and certainly some knowledge being passed down there about this facility here and the racetrack as Matthew Robinson continues to lead.
And he will grab the win. Second will go to Reef. Third to Dave Bell. Fourth will be the 7 of LaFron boys, and the third. As your field gets ready to go one more time here on Lazor's Construction Night. Hopefully they're having a good time with us here in the VIP booth. And we're back underway as the 14 of Dean Pronovost goes into that early lead. I believe that might be the 11M of Matt Mutin, along with the 21 of Scott Mears. Scott, I would believe, would have the advantage over everybody in this field, all 11 machines total, as he has run the most laps of anybody. But up in front, right now, the person who's got the advantage is the 14 of Pronovost.
Certainly Dean Pronovost not afraid of it as he took off as soon as the green flag was displayed and kind of walked away from the rest of the field now. He's got almost a half, or actually a quarter track lead of the rest of the field, and then second is the 11M of Matt Mutin, and Scott Lemire is in third, and definitely Scott Lemire, he raced Bandits here, he also raced Sportsman. I believe he tried Modified for a little bit back in the day, and it looks like he's found himself a pretty good class to run with here.
I think he's pretty much competed in every division here, with the exception of late models and sprint cars and big block modifieds for sure. But Scott definitely has plenty of laps around the speedway. But up in front, Pronovost is just setting a torrid pace out there in that 14 as he leads with 3 laps in the books.
Pronovost definitely has the car to beat here in this in this second heat, as he has not had a problem going into turns 1 and 2. Looks like the track surface starting to come around for these racers. Sportsman up next. We also have the Pro Stocks Mini Series race this evening, Tim, and we got a few new faces in that division as they've been following the Mini Series all along.
Yep, Bailey Motor Company Pro Stock set to do battle once again with 2 more laps to go. Dean Pronovost is running away and hiding from everybody, and he's almost built up about a half a track lead out there over Matt Mutin, who rides in second. Then it's a battle for the third spot with Scott Mears in the 21, along with the other number 11 machine of Brian Green. Rounding out your field is Lacey Cox in the 33.
Now on the inside, it'll be the 11M of Matt Mutin, as he's not able to hold off the hard-charging 21G of Scott Mears. Scott Mears coming around to take the second place away from Matt Mutin, but Matt Mutin right back now as they come out of turns 2.
Checkered flag is in the air, and Pronovost will win this one. Not only win it, but dominate. Second spot will go to the 11 of Matt Mutin, along with the other number 11 machine of Brian Green. The 21 of Mears will cross in fourth, and Lacey Cox will cross in the number 5. Changed their way of scoring points to earn the Mr. Dirt Car title this year, but I'll get to that in just a few moments. We're getting underway. 8 laps the distance. Jenna David, Josh Jock on the front row. We'll see how everybody navigates turns 1 and 2. Jock will go around the top side. Jenna David down low, and Josh Jock will get the lead. Look at Hagen go on the top side. He started 6th, Brian, and now he is riding in the number 2 spot. We haven't even completed a lap yet.
come feature time, that high side is going to be there. You're going to see some fantastic side-by-side racing, maybe even three-wide racing, as Josh Jock has powered his way as he leads now, as he started on the outside of Jenna David. Jenna David slipped back here a bit, but these cars certainly bring a little more power into the corners than the mini mods.
Absolutely, for sure, as Josh Jock holds down the top spot. Hagan went from 6th all the way up to 2nd, but that's where he stopped so far, as Josh Jock pretty much has that lane all to himself there, and that's the handy part about being in the lead on a track like this. Wherever the groove is, you just stay right with it, and it makes it difficult for the drivers to get around you, especially on the bottom side. The only way to get around you is on the top side for now.
Well, Josh Jock has his first career heat win in a few weeks ago here at the Mohawk International Raceway. He's continuing to get better week after week. Brendan Hagan always fast, but he's got his hands full here as Josh Jock as he tries to run him down as we have 3 laps completed.
Well, there's only a couple car lengths that separate your top 2 drivers. Then another half straightaway back to Sheldon Hoogworth in the 27 machine as Tom Benedict battles from 4th. And meanwhile, the only battle on the racetrack is for that number 5 spot, and Tom Conklin finally gets around Jenna David as David falls to the number 6 spot in the 2. But up in front, Josh Jock pretty much having his way. Car looks really nice coming up off of turn number 4, and he'll lead at lap number 5.
Well, the key you can see there, Josh Jock continues to hit his marks lap after lap. He continues to stay in the groove coming out of 2. As he powers his way into 3 and 4, he sticks right in that middle groove. Come feature time, Tim, that high side's going to be there. I believe the low side will work its way in. So we're in for a fantastic night of features here.
Well, right now, Josh is just, as you said, he's just hitting his mark, staying clean, and he knows the way the track is right now that nobody's going to dive bomb him on the inside. It's not a feature race right now, so everybody's just kind of taking their time, just wanting to get through these 8-lap heat events. And, of course, you saw Hagan charge right towards the front. Looked like he was going to go right up to the lead there, but has kind of settled back in the number 2 spot. White flag in the air, and Jock has actually started to pull away quite a bit here.
Well, Josh Jock, the youngster, he spent many days on this track when he was too young to race at that point. He also helped out Casey Swamp in his pro stock. Josh, a tireless worker, always wanted to race, and right now it's paying off for him as he's going to head to his 2nd heat race of the 2011 season.
Hagan will get the runner-up spot. Battle for 3rd, and Benedict pulled the slide job on Hoogworth going into turn 3. Hoogworth tried to get it back, but it's Benedict in 3rd, Hoogworth 4th, Tom Conklin. So it should be pretty interesting. A little confusing how they're doing the point structure, but it'll all work itself out in the end. The 30 along with the 70 of Billy Cook, the 2 of Mike Arquette, the 21, as we mentioned, Travis Back, Dylan Evoy in the 83, and Ryan Arbuthnot in the R70 machine. His father, Steve Arbuthnot, former modified campaigner, back some time ago, picked up a vintage modified win last week at Brockville, and Ryan actually finished 4th in that event. So good to see Ryan back out here with us as Thunder Anderson takes him into turns 3 and 4 with the lead for a moment, but the veteran Billy Cook planks that number 70 out in front, and he'll go to the lead at lap 1.
Well, you have to wonder if the advantage early on is going to go to Billy Cook, a longtime campaigner, raced at the Fort Covington Speedway, the Frogtown Speedway, now the Mohawk International Raceway. He's certainly done his share of laps on this track, so that experience starting to pay off here in heat race number 2.
And Dylan Evoy tried the move that Brandon Hagan made early on in his qualifying heat just a short time ago, and making it pay off for him. He goes from the number 6 spot all the way up to 3rd. But Billy Cook, the man of the hour, Billy's last feature win came here in a mini sprint back in 2002, and he is enjoying a great season in the sportsman car, and he'd love to get the victory lane. Looks pretty solid here in the early going.
Well, certainly the number change for Travis Back paying off so far as the 21 holds on to second place. Dylan Evoy looking to take a peek on the outside coming out of 2. He's going to look to go on the inside here coming into turns 3 and 4.
And Billy Cook does have that top spot. Travis Back has got Dylan Evoy all over the back bumper. With 4 laps complete, Dylan Evoy and Travis Back have the best battle on the racetrack so far. Billy Cook does have the top spot, though, and he continues to lead him down the back straightaway. Another half straightaway back is Thunder Anderson in the 30 with Mike Arquette's 2EZ, along with the 70 of Ryan Arbuthnot off of turn number 4. Cook still has the top spot, but he's got a hornet's nest back there with Back and Evoy.
Thing to watch here, Tim, and fans will be coming out at 2. Dylan Evoy looking to go to the inside. Don't be surprised if you see Dylan Evoy take 2 spots away here, either coming out of the coming off the bottom or coming off the top here out of turns 4 now, as Billy Cook continues to lead. And Tim, Billy Cook has kind of settled into a very nice lead here.
Oh, he has. He's not doing anything spectacular, as we mentioned. He's just doing his thing, staying ahead of the class, and it's just staying in the groove. If you stay in the groove on a track like this, nobody's going to get by you. And Dylan Evoy just made a bold move down on the bottom. He went to second at the white flag. Does he have anything left for Billy Cook? We're about to find out.
Well, Dylan Evoy made a tremendous clean pass right there coming into turns 3 and 4. Now he's going to take a peek on the high side as they go into 3 and 4, trying to get around the M70 of Billy Cook. Evoy now going to look to go dive to the bottom. Coming out of 4, it'll be Dylan Evoy, Billy Cook. Dylan Evoy with heat race win number 2. Billy Cook finishes in second. The 21 of Travis back in third. Mike Arquette in fourth. And the 30 of Thunder Anderson.
Just, decide, hey, I'm tired of sitting in the stands. I want to be back in this thing. You never know. We may see Kyle back out here before too long. Green flag is out. Neil Provost out in front. And the 30 of Kelsey chasing him down the back straightaway. Dylan Sallows, I've been talking to him and his father, Dallas, and they have been getting that car worked out, getting it better and better each and every week. And he is strong on the top side, but up in front, it's a battle royale for the number 1 spot with Provost and Kelsey.
I'll tell you what, Tim, one of the most improved drivers I've seen here week after week in the Sportsman division has got to be the 74 of Neil Provost, as now Craig Lawrence on the backstretch, a little off the pace for the field as they're going to try to make their way around him. But coming out of turns 4, Neil Provost continues to lead.
And Provost has a couple of heat wins already this season. Very strong earlier this year. And the black flag coming out for the 76 of Lawrence, as he was just moving very slowly out there on the racetrack, not keeping pace with the field. But up in front, everyone's trying to keep pace with Provost as he leads them coming off turn number 4.
Provost continues to lead. Brent Kelsey in third. Brent Kelsey in second. Dylan Sallows in third. But the race behind there, you got Marcel Picor, the 18 of Louis Jackson Jr. And now coming into the bottom, it'll be the 9 machine of Christian Smoke, going to try to peek to the bottom, coming out of 2. Not able to complete the pass as the black flag continues to be displayed for Craig Lawrence.
Up in front, though, Provost having his way with the field, but Brent Kelsey not making it easy on him. They're going to go through turns 1 and 2. Nose to nose as they get around the 76 of Lawrence. Dylan Sallows in all that mess has closing in on the leaders as they head through turns 3 and 4. Sallows in third. Then it's a full straightaway back to Picor and the number 9 of Smoke as Lawrence gets up out of the way of the field. He will head pit side.
See if I can catch my breath on that one, Tim. Boy,
yes.
I saw that coming and I said, is he going to dive to the pits here? But luckily enough, the field was just far enough behind him where it went off without incident. But Neil Provost right now not having any incidents or any trouble up front. He's continuing to set the pace.
2 more laps remain, and Provost is making it look very easy out there. But Dylan Sallows is closing in on Brent Kelsey right now for that runner-up spot. As they work into turns 3 and 4 this time, they'll get the white flag this time by. As Provost working that outside groove. Kelsey down low. Dylan Sallows right behind him in third.
The white flag is displayed in the back of the field. The battle continues between Picor and Christian Smoke. Christian Smoke on the back bumper now of Picor as they head into turns 1 and 2. Slips up a little bit there as Picor. Smoke not able to get to the bottom, but coming out of 4. Tim, take it away.
Neil Provost has done it again as he'll grab the heat win. Brent Kelsey holds off Sallows for the number 2 spot. Sallows will get third. And then that battle for 4th and 5th. Marcel Picor will grab it. And the 9 of Smoke will cross in the number. As was Timmy and Danny O'Brien and a host of others. So from all of us here at Mohawk, we wish the Stewart family all the best. And their thoughts and prayers are with the Stewart family.
Back in action this week, the 44 of Casey Swamp. Talking to Case earlier. Last weekend he had some business commitments that he had to attend to out in California, but this week he's back in action. And Tim, as you called it, the last time he was here, a little bit of smoke coming out of his machine. And speaking to Casey, he said it was just an oil line let loose, but he didn't want to do any further damage, so that's why he decided to shut it down a couple weeks ago.
Very, very smart move by Casey, but right now up in front, Jeff Sykes is having his way with the field, showing you why he's a 2-time track champion here. Working down the front stretch with a huge lead on Casey Swamp, but Matt Billings is right there with him in the number 3 position. Billings, regular runner at Brockville in 2011. Picked up a feature win a couple of weeks ago with Larry Welling right there behind him in fourth. Rick Miller doing a great job rounding out the top 5 in the 20.
It continues to be the 4J of Jeff Sykes out of Edwards, New York. He is your leader. Casey Swamp in second. In third, it is the 74 of Matt Billings. Billings trying to close the gap as they head into turns 3 and 4 between him and Casey Swamp. It'll be Sykes now back around to collect lap number 3. Fourth lap underway, Tim.
And I'll tell you what, Jeff Sykes is definitely making things look very easy out there in heat number 1 for the modifieds as Casey Swamp, Matt Billings trying to chase him down as they run off of turn number 4. Sykes with a straightaway advantage on that battle for second.
Well, back in the field, Larry Welling Jr. continues to be just in front of last week's feature winner, the 88 of Tim O'Brien. Tim O'Brien collecting the Dirt Car 358 modified victory last week as he walked away for the field in a very strong car. But tonight, Tim, not so much the case in heat race number 1.
Well, right now, as we mentioned, the track very heavy, very slick out there, so a lot of drivers not able to go very many places too fast. And Tim just kind of taking his time out there behind Larry Welling in the 21. But up in front, Jeff Sykes is not taking his time. He is charging hard out there with 3 laps to go. And you can see him just charging as hard as he can through turns 1 and 2, trying to get away from everybody. Casey Swamp has his hands full with Matt Billings, though, in the 74. Then it's another straightaway back to that battle for fourth with O'Brien and Welling, and then Rick Miller rounds out the field in the 20.
This track is continuously getting worked in here. These wider tires of the modified and sportsmen have done a great job packing the track in. And I'm telling you what, Tim, come feature time, we're going to see some fantastic racing.
Absolutely. Can't wait for it. But off of turn number 4, Jeff Sykes holds down the top spot at the white flag lap. And Jeff, I talked to him at Cornwall a couple of weeks ago, said that they just had no idea what they were doing wrong. They've switched cars out there. That is the car that they finished last year off with. And I'll tell you what, it is hauling the mail through turns 3 and 4. And Jeff Sykes will handily win qualifying heat number 1 for the Frenchie Chevrolet 358 Modifieds.
So now it is Casey Swamp in the 74. Matt Billings. Casey Swamp will come around in second. Now the battle is for the 4th position. Tim O'Brien behind Larry Welling Jr. as they come out of 4. Larry Welling Jr., Tim O'Brien.
Fierce competitor out there, and we're glad to have him up here with us here this evening. We are underway. And I tell you what, Brian, Delbert LeGros wasted no time jumping to the head of the class around Ryan Helm.
Delbert LeGros has had some strong runs here this season, but unfortunately he's been a victim of circumstances, getting caught up into someone else's mess, if you will, throughout various parts. But right as the green flag was displayed, Delbert LeGros, no hesitation on his part to get to the front and stay in front.
Well, he's got a very strong piece up underneath him there, and he'll set sail down the back straightaway with the top spot. Ryan Helm holding Perry Francis at bay for the time being. Then it is Gary Terrance back there in the 4th spot. Mike Perotti is 5th. Leon Gagno and Adderley complete the rest of the field.
So Mike Adderley, joining us here this evening. Always nice to see him. And as you said, Tim, exactly right. He is a very fierce competitor. Any idea what he's doing down in Charlotte, North Carolina? Is it involve racing or?
He is making his way into hopefully some sort of a NASCAR shop down there, and he is doing very well for himself. Recently engaged, so he's got himself a house down there, doing very, very well. And glad to have him with us. Up in front, though, Delbert LeGros is kind of making this look rather easy out there as he leads coming down the front stretch.
LeGros continues to lead now. In the 2nd place, it is Helm, followed by the 35 machine of Mike Perotti. As we mentioned, Mike Perotti, big show tomorrow night up at the Airborne Speedway. The ISMAs Modifieds make their appearance at the Airborne Speedway. But continuing to lead, Delbert LeGros not having exactly a hard time with this, Tim, as once the green flag was displayed, he kind of ran away with this.
Yep, for sure. But Ryan Helm is right there with him, though. He is not letting him get away. Neither is Perry Francis or the 66 of Kerry Terrance. Francis pushed up a little bit coming off of turn 4, but that's just the nature of this racetrack right now. It is very, very tacky out there. And, of course, basically just put your foot to the floor and go, and they've got this track worked in so they can do that now. As you see, the top 4 have spaced themselves out by a full straightaway back to Mike Perotti in 5th.
Well, the one thing you notice, Tim, you talk about a push that you watch as the cars enter low into 1, they start to push up a little bit high coming out of 2, but they're able to regain control coming down to the backstretch. But I'll tell you what, Delbert LeGros putting on an impressive display here as he powers his way off to 2, now into 3 and 4.
And Ryan Helm also putting on a great show as well. This is Ryan Helm's best ever run in a modified. Of course, Ryan jumped right from the Bandit cars all the way up into the modified division and does not look out of place right now as Barry Francis chases him in spot number 3, but Delbert LeGros does have the advantage coming off of turn 4, but Ryan Helm's not done with him at the white flag lap.
So 1 lap remains to be the issue. Battle for the lead will continue, Delbert LeGros, but coming up is the 15 of Ryan Helm as they go into turns 3 and 4. Tim, take it away.
And can Helm charge after him off of turn number 4? He gets down to the inside, but it's not going to be enough. Delbert LeGros finally gets to victory lane in a qualifying heat. It'll be Helm, Francis, Kerry Terrance, your top 4. Then it is Mike Perotti all by himself in the number 5 spot. Have Eric back with us in a stout machine, too. That 40 machine has done very well with Joel Dwaron behind the wheel. Underway for the 3rd and final heat event, Roy Tarbell jumping to the head of the class with Melvin Rush and Gage Moran right there behind him.
Well, the new machine for Melvin Rush, let's see how that's going to work out for him. It's a very strong car, as I believe that's an old Dale Plank car, the 77X, but Gage Moran looking to go to the inside as they head into turns 1 and 2.
Well, Melvin's definitely got himself a stout piece right there. Anytime you see 77X on the side of it, you know that there's something there. And Melvin doing a pretty good job holding on to that runner-up spot. Then it's Gage Moran back there in 3rd. Chris Raby once again this weekend on pursuit of career win number 100 in his modified and sportsman career.
So Rush in 2nd, but Roy Tarbell, the class of the heat race here this evening in this one, as Gage Moran now in 3rd, trying to look to get around the 77X of Melvin Rush, but so far, Tim, Melvin's got to be enjoying this new ride.
And Melvin does, but Gage Moran got quite the run off the top side. He will go to the runner-up spot. Melvin Rush now trying to hold Chris Raby at bay as Raby jumps to the outside part of the speedway and goes to the number 3 spot, moving Rush back to 4th. Todd Stone completes the top 5.
So 3 laps in the book as we've got 6 more to go. Tarbell continues to lead. It is Gage Moran in 2nd. But Roy Tarbell starting to gain a little more distance between him and himself in the 2nd place car. But Chris Raby coming out of 4, looking to make the pass.
And he's got the wheels alongside of Moran down into turns 1 and 2. Moran got caught on the top side. Raby down low, and Raby will take away the number 2 spot. All this happening behind the veteran Roy Tarbell. 2009 track champion here, works in that number 1 spot, but Raby is charging after him in that 2nd position.
4 more laps to go. Melvin Rush in his new ride, the 77X, continues to ride in 4th. And in the 5th spot, it is the 1X of Todd Stone, but Roy Tarbell now starting to have some company up front, Tim, as Chris Raby has closed the distance.
And he is right there with him, too, as they come down the back straightaway. Raby, who started 6th on the grid, trying to go up to the number 1 spot in turns 3 and 4. We'll have 2 more laps left this time by. And Raby is there as they come down the front straightaway into turns 1 and 2.
As you see going into turns 1, Raby slipped up a little bit there as Roy Tarbell able to break away and give himself a little more distance between him and Raby. But 2 laps to go. Chris Raby, does he have anything left in his pockets to catch Roy Tarbell?
Well, he's caught him. Getting around Roy Tarbell is the next thing, as Roy is very tough to beat out there. He's got about 4 car lengths on Raby, who's all by himself in the runner-up spot. Then it's Gage Moran back to 3rd. Checkered flag will fly this time. And Tarbell will hold Raby at bay for the win. Raby in 2nd, Gage Moran 3rd. Then it's Melvin Rush in a strong showing.
Should be a great track, as I said earlier, come feature time, as the track now continually getting worked in, Tim. And I'll tell you what, we are in for a great heat race here as Dave the Bulldog Bissonette breaks away from the field and takes the early lead.
And Bissonette does have the top spot, but he's got Morgan David, his teammate and car owner, right there behind him in the number 2 spot. David holding down 2nd. Then it is Ricky Thompson in 3rd. Swamp a little out of shape on the backstretch. And he falls to the number 6 spot as Joey Lattiser comes up into the number 4 position. Stefan Lebrun completes the top 5.
Well, Dave the Bulldog Bissonette continues to lead, but now Ricky Thompson giving some company to the 47 of Morgan David. Behind him is the 92 machine of Joey Ladouceur, and right behind him is the 6 of Stefan Lebrun. And Jody Swamp seems to have a tire going down, I believe, on the left front as he'll take it pit side.
And up in front, Dave Bissonette putting on a clinic here in the early going, but Morgan David does have his hands full as Ricky Thompson and Joey Ladouceur are all over the back bumper. Morgan David slipping up off of turn number 2, and that's going to allow for Thompson to get down to the inside. Thompson pushes up the track just a little bit. Here comes Joey Ladouceur in a bid for third, and he will get it as he comes down the front stretch into 1 and 2.
So, Bulldog continuing to break away from the rest of the field as the battle for second continues between the 1R of Ricky Thompson. Joey Ladouceur going to look to go to the inside as they go into turns 3 and 4. Ladouceur going to push it a little lower now, try to beat him to the bottom coming out of 4. Not able to do so as Ricky Thompson will maintain the number 2 position.
4 laps have been completed in this 8-lap heat event for the Pro Stocks, and Dave Bissonette has led from the drop of the green as Ricky Thompson having his hands full with Ladouceur down the back straightaway. They head through turns 3 and 4 right now, and Thompson slowing big time into turns 3 and 4, as does Stefan Lebrun, and he gets tangled up with Morgan David, and that will bring out the yellow flag. And great 3-week stretch for him, 2 wins and a second-place finish last week to Jody Swamp. We're back underway, and Bissonette takes him into 1 and 2 with the lead, but here comes Ricky Thompson, your defending track champion. Bobbled a little bit that last lap before the caution, but he is not done and over with right now as he comes into turns 3 and 4 with that second spot. But Joey Ladouceur has been right there that entire race as Bissonette works off the corner with 2 more to go.
Well, it's certainly making for an interesting heat race for Ricky Thompson. He's not only trying to catch Joey Ladouceur, but he's got to contend, not only trying to catch Dave Bissonette, but he's got to contend with Joey Ladouceur. So certainly he's got his hands full here this evening, Tim.
Absolutely, he does, as Bissonette comes off of turns 3 and 4 at the white flag lap with probably about a 6-car length lead over Ricky Thompson, who, as I mentioned, is just having a tough time with Joey Ladouceur. Just cannot shake him as Ladouceur charges down the back straightaway after him into turns 3 and 4. Up in front, though, Dave Bissonette will march on to the win, but the battle is for second.
As it'll be Thompson coming around to collect the second spot. Joey Ladouceur follows him, and then the 4th spot will be the 6 of Stefan Lebrun, and the 47 machine of Morgan David will.
Quite a little delay with getting the track worked in, but we got it worked in, and we'd like to thank the fans for sticking with us and being patient as we got the track worked in. And right now, Rod Tarbell and Mark Lalonde are at each other for first and second. Tarbell all out of shape in turn number 2. And that will bring out the yellow, possibly no. And Rod Tarbell's going to keep it going, Brian, and a great job by Rod to keep that machine going.
Hats off to Rod Tarbell as he looped it into turns 2. Great job, great job. Thank you very much, Rod, for keeping this heat race number 2 underway. But leading the way is the number 9 machine of Mark Lalonde, but right behind him is Louis Action Jackson. Louis Jackson going to look to go to the bottom now as they enter into turns 3. Coming out of 4, Lalonde continues to lead.
And a great showing so far for Mark Lalonde here in the early going, as he has got former track champion here, Louis Jackson, right there behind him in the number 2 spot. Then it is Rock Obey in third. Jackson slips up a little bit off of turn 2, and Obey closes the gap considerably into turn number 3. And Dave Papineau in the 188 just behind them with Deion Oakes in the number 5 spot in the 48.
Well, it looks like the 18 machine of Louis Jackson has an incredible push on it right now as he tries to put the gas to the car, and the car wants to drift high on him, which is enabling Mark Lalonde to kind of get some distance between himself and Louis Jackson. But Louis Jackson able to handle any machine you put him behind, and he's doing a pretty good job here as he continues to hunt down Mark Lalonde.
Halfway sign is out, 4 and 4 more to go. Mark Lalonde just up in front and doing his thing out there, as we've seen in every heat event tonight. It seems like if you get out in front, with the exception of a couple of them, you pretty much will stay there the rest of the race as they work down the front straightaway, and Mark Lalonde having his way so far with Louis Jackson and Rock Oban giving chase.
Rock Oban trying to take a peek coming out of turn 4, was not able to make the pass now, but Louis Jackson with some tremendous power coming out of turn 2, but yet again, that car of his wants to drift high, which will open the door for Rock Oban.
And Obey tried that inside groove, just could not get the grip down there that he wanted. not without pushing up into Louis Jackson. He does not want to do that, but up in front, Mark Lalone has got 2 more laps to go and is setting a pretty good pace out there. And a lot of these drivers having a tough time keeping up with the number 8. Finally, Jackson slips up just enough, and Obey gets the run he's looking for down on the bottom. He'll grab second.
Which also opened the door for the 188 of David Papineau. Papineau looking to get around on the inside of Louis Jackson, not able to do so. But now Rocco Ban slips up a little bit. Louis Jackson closes the gap. Throw a blanket over 2, 3, and 4.
And throw Dion Oaks into that mix. You got a pretty good 4-car battle as Papineau goes by for the number 3 spot. But checkered flag will be out this time by, and Mark Lalone will handily go from start. Regine Lemieux and the 33 of Lacey Cox will lead him to the green flag off of turn number 4 this time, and we are underway. And quickly into turns 1 and 2, you saw the outside groove there with the 14 of Dean Pronovost, and he charges from last all the way up to third. Down the back straightaway they hustle. Look at Green in the number 11 along with the 11M of Matt Mutin. Up in front, though, it is Regine Lemieux, your early leader.
Lemieux took the early green flag from Austin Swamp and broke away, but now he's got company as the 7 machine of Sylvain Laflamboy comes out of turn 2, but now trying to keep up the pace is the 88 of Matthew Robinson. He sits in third as they go into turns 3 and 4.
And Lemieux does have the number 1 spot all to himself. Up in front, though, Laframboy is right there behind him in the number 2 spot. Then it is the 14 of Pronovost along with the 21 of Mir, the 11 of Green, rounds out your top 5. Right now, a battle for the runner-up spot goes on as Laframboy has the 14 of Pronovost on the top side. Pronovost right there with him off of turn number 4, but Regine Lemieux holding strong in the number 1 spot.
In the 14 machine, it is Dean Pronovost, and he's looking to go at Tim here as he comes out of 2. He's looking to gain something on Lemieux there, but Lemieux very strong off the corners. He's been setting the torrid pace for this class, but the interesting part, Tim, as you watch these cars, there's a lot of back and forth passing on the front stretch and the back stretch.
Absolutely, for sure. And right now, the 30 of Lemieux does have the early advantage, but Pronovost making that outside groove work. The 7 of Laframboy down there in spot number 3. Then it is Brian Green and teammate Matt Mutin rounding out your top 5. But Lemieux making it look fairly easy so far here in the early going with 5 laps on the board.
Well, Lemieux continuing to hit his marks here, but the 14 of Pronovost looking to gain a little bit, but he's starting to bobble there coming out of turn 2 as he slipped to the high side. That opened the door for the 7 machine of Sylvain Laframboy, but sitting in 4th, the 11M of Matt Mutin starting to close the gap as they head into turns 1 and 2.
And with 6 laps complete of this 15-lap feature go, Lemieux trying to hold in there and win this one, but the 14 of Pronovost has other ideas. Laframboy's back there in third. You can't count him out, and neither can you count out Brian Green in the number 11. Matt Mutin rounds out your top 5. Matthew Robinson, one of our heat race winners, still struggling back there in the number 6 spot.
Well, Robinson, as you mentioned, Tim, struggling a little bit here in the feature race. Tried it coming low out of turn 2. Could not make it work. But definitely setting the pace is Lemieux here as the 14 car of Dean Provost not quite able to close that gap enough where he can take a peek to the outside or the inside.
And working in lap number 8, the 30 of Lemieux does have the lead, but Pronovost has been able to close in on Lemieux as they head through turns 3 and 4 this time. And off of turn number 4, they hustle. It's Lemieux still in front at the halfway point. 8 in, 7 more to go. And I'll tell you what, Brian, Lemieux has got some company off of turn 2.
Well, coming out of turn 2 now to the high side, it'll be Pronovost looking to take a peek, not able to complete the pass. They head into turns 3 and 4. Lemieux continues to lead, but now on his back bumper is the 14 machine of Pronovost.
Down the front stretch, they hustle it. Pronovost going to take it to the top side this time. He's got the run he's looking for, but just couldn't quite make it stick. As the 7 of Laframboy along with the 11 of Green, the 11M of Matt Mutin right there in spot number 5. As the field works into turns 3 and 4. Now you bring Matthew Robinson into the mid 6. A 6-car battle for the top spot.
Well, I'll tell you one thing I've noticed here. The 14 machine of Pronovost seems to be a little bit stronger in the corners, but coming off the corners, Lemieux able to power away, and when he gets on the straightaways, he's got a little more bite than the 14 machine.
And we'll find out what happens when these cars enter into lap traffic. Pronovost down on the inside, Lemieux on the top side, as they got Lacey Cox right in the middle. They're 3 wide around him, and it's the 14 of Pronovost to the number 1 spot, and a great move through traffic to get the lead down the backstretch. Now they come up on the back bumper of the 46 of Dave Bell, and Bell will go a lap down to the leaders. No contest up in front after that as Pronovost holds down the top spot. We've got 2 laps to go.
Pronovost took the lead as lap traffic was the issue, as Lemieux was not able to find the right groove to get around the 33 machine of Lacey Cox, but Pronovost did. Now he continues to lead. Here's Lemieux now going to try the high side coming out of turn 2, on the back stretch, but continuing to lead is the Pronovost car as he seems to be hooked up on the bottom.
White flag being displayed this time by can Lemieux get by Pronovost in the final lap for the winner. Will Pronovost take the first ever Mod Light feature event here at Mohawk? Down the back straightaway, Lemieux charges after him down the back stretch into turns 3 and 4. They're bumper to bumper through turn number 4 this time by Pronovost on the bottom. Lemieux right there with him off of turn 4. It's Dean Pronovost, your winner, and Lemieux will get the runner-up spot. For the evening, and how about a round of applause? The first ever Mod Light feature winner here, Dean Pronovost. I'd say these guys put on a whale of a show out there here this evening.
Well, that's what makes racing so great. Lemieux got off to a great start, held the lead for quite a few laps, but then lap traffic became the issue as the 33
Boy, Christian Smoke, Thunder Anderson, Ryan Arbuthnot, Jenna David, Louis Jackson Jr., and Craig Lawrence in the 76 completer field. We are underway, 20 laps of distance for the sportsmen.
Billy Cook powers his way on the outside from the number 2 position, getting around the 03 of Josh Jock as they go down the backstretch, heading into turns 3 and 4. Your race leader is Billy Cook, followed by Josh Jock and the 27 machine of Sheldon Horgworth. Very, very tight racing here early on, Tim.
And it very much is, as Billy Cook does hold down the number 1 position with the 03 of Jock. Right there behind him in second, Sheldon Horgworth, Dylan Sallows. Back there, 3rd and 4th. Tom Benedict has now crawled into the top 5 rather early here as we come down to complete lap number 2.
Well, 2 cars to watch most definitely in this field is the 83 of Dylan Evoy and the 12 of Brendan Hagan. Last week's 1 and 2 respectively. But right now, the issue at hand is Billy Cook continues to lead, looking for his first ever career win in the sportsman rank, as Josh Jock follows him in the number 2 spot as they come around to complete lap number 3.
And Tom Benedict, along with the 11 of Dylan Sallows, getting into one another off of turn number 2 as they work down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Travis back right there behind him. Billy Cook with a problem in the M7. He slows to a stop up here in turn number 4. Not exactly sure what happened, but he is all of a sudden pulled up out of line, and the caution flag waves. Does have the top spot. Sheldon Horgworth right there beside him in the number 2 spot. We are back under green, and we're 3 wide going into turn number 1. This could get ugly out here, but they all straighten themselves out. Sallows and Travis back get into one another hard in turn number 2, but it doesn't slow them down one bit, as we've got them 3 wide back at about the 8th, 9th, and 10th spot out there with Thunder Anderson, Brent Kelsey, and Mike Arquette goes around in front of Kelsey, collecting Brandon Hagan. Hagan takes evasive action. He'll go to the infield. Ryan Arbuthnot into the mix here as well, and the caution flag is back out. Stanley's coming in tonight. And he'll have to rejoin at the tail, though, as we come off of turn number 4. Green flag back out. And Tom Benedict, once again, back to the number 1 spot. Here comes Dylan Evoy down on the inside. He made a mention last week he is tired of finishing second, and right now he is running second and chasing Tom Benedict as they work off of turn number 4 this time with Benedict, your leader.
Rejoining the field is the 9 of Christian Smoke. He's able to come out just before the leaders will get up on top of him. But now Tom Benedict is your leader, followed by Evoy. Evoy looking to chase him down, coming out of 2. They get around lap traffic, heading into turns 3 and 4. Benedict continues to lead, but Evoy closing the distance ever so gently.
And he is closing definitely. Of course, a couple of drivers who battled here last season in the sportsman class. Tom Benedict has yet to win a feature here and Mohawk in the sportsman division, but he's got a good shot at it right now. But Dylan Evoy is going to make him work for it off of turn number 4. They drag race down the front straightaway. It's Benedict, your leader, at lap number 8.
But don't count out the 12 machine of Brendan Hagan, last week's feature winner. He's looking to get some distance for himself here as he continues to work his way through the field. But now on the inside, Evoy slams her to the bottom. Benedict on top. Evoy cannot make a stick. Benedict will come around and continue to be your race leader.
Dylan Evoy with 6 feature wins on the season, 4 of them coming here at Mohawk. 1 at Brockville and 1 at Can-Am, is lurking behind the 7 of Benedict, trying to take away the number 1 spot. Evoy throws it to the top. He'll try to dive bomb off of turn number 4. No such luck, though, and Benedict will hold the top spot.
So Benedict continues to lead, but now the race is for the number 3 position. The 21 of Travis Beck continues to hunt down the 27 of Sheldon Hargworth. Coming out of 2, Hargworth is in 3rd, but Travis Beck closing the lead ever so gently now as he'll go to the bottom looking for some bite. Not able to do so as Hargworth will slide up in front of him.
And a real, I tell you what, real confusing deal down in front. They didn't know which lane to pick to get around Craig Lawrence into 76, but Benedict and Evoy were able to get around him, as does Hargworth and the 21 of Travis Beck. The 12 of Hagan is now cracked into the top 5 as he rides in 5th.
So Benedict, your race leader, as he comes out of 2. Evoy looking for some bite on the high side. He tried the high side last week, was not able to make the pass by Brendan Hagan. But now Evoy looking to the bottom, coming out of 4. No, Benedict will continue to lead as I throw it back to you, Tim, with 12 in the books.
And Benedict does have the lead, but Dylan Evoy has been pressuring him all race long. Meanwhile, back there in the 3rd spot, we got to change for the number 3 position as the 21 of Travis Beck has gotten around Sheldon Hargworth to take away that position. Brandon Hagan currently rounds out your top 5. Still a battle for the top spot as we come into complete lap 14.
2 very strong racing groups here this evening. Evoy trying to pick one to get by Tom Benedict, but not able to do so. As now the 76 of Craig Lawrence will take it pit side as the black flag was displayed. Coming out of 4, it is still Benedict, your race leader.
Tom Benedict comes down with 5 laps to go. Could we have a first-time winner in the Sportsman division here at Mohawk? We'll find out shortly. But Dylan Evoy, as we mentioned earlier, wants to get another win here. He's won 4 times this season, and he'd love to get back to victory lane. As they work down the front straightaway, Benedict still in command of the field.
Well, we could have our 3rd different race winner in 3 weeks here, as last week it was Brendan Hagan, the week before Dylan Evoy. But Tom Benedict, he's got something to say here this evening, folks. He wants to get his first career win in the dirt car Sportsman. Evoy in 2nd, following closely.
3 more laps left to decide this one. And can Evoy do anything with Benedict? He's down to the inside. Couldn't quite make the pass off of turn number 2. He'll try him again in turn 3. Lap traffic could spell the difference here as they come up off of turn number 4. 2 more laps to go.
They are about 1/4 of a track length away from lap traffic. It'll be Arquette in front of them. Louis Jackson Jr. in front of him as well. Tom Benedict, the race leader, heading into turns 3 and 4. Evoy now looking to go on the inside of Benedict. Nothing working there, but as you said, Tim, lap traffic is now the issue.
White flag is being displayed. Tom Benedict doing everything in the books to hold off Evoy. Evoy goes to the bottom. We got to race down the back straightaway for the final time into turn 3. Which lane do you pick? Do you go high? Do you go low? Here's Evoy with a bit for the lead on the top side. The leaders are collected. Evoy keeps it going. Checkered flag is out, and Evoy will get win number 5 of the year. Wow.
What a fantastic finish, Tim. That has to be one of the most exciting finishes, even going back to last week, how Evoy was able not to be collected in the 2 machine of Mike Arquette, as lap traffic was certainly the deciding factor in that feature.
Win of the season.
And as we had mentioned, Tim, unfortunately, trackside interview is not going to be able to take place tonight, as we don't want to keep you focused.
We're just about set to go up in turns 3 and 4. Ryan Helm and Larry Welling bring them to the green, and we are underway.
So it'll be Larry Welling Jr. on the outside, taking the early lead. Helm in 2nd, followed it by 3rd is the 77X. Melvin Rush now in 3rd. It'll be the number 2 machine of Delbert LeGros. A very strong run for him in the heat race this evening.
And Welling continues to occupy that top spot. Ryan Helm does have company, though, in the form of Delbert LeGros as they work into turns 3 and 4 this time. Melvin Rush back there in the 4th spot. There's Casey Swamp back there in the number 5 position as they work off of turn number 4 and lap number 2.
Some fantastic racing going on in back of the field. Mike Perotti in the 88 of Timmy O'Brien, looking to get some distance as they try to move their way up through the field. But now Casey Swamp slowing on the backstretch. Problems for him, but he's able to regain it coming into 3.
And Matt Billings just about ran him over as they went into turn number 3. Casey Swamp able to pick it back up, though, but he lost a ton of spots. Meanwhile, Larry Welling Jr. is just checked out on the rest of the field as he comes down the front stretch with a full straightaway advantage back to Ryan Helm.
As you said, Larry Welling Jr. starting to walk away from the field. This track is perfect for him this evening. In second, though, Helm going to bobble a little bit. Opens the door for Double Agro. They head into turns 3 as he's got company now with the 77X of Melvin Rush in this new power plant. Tim, that's working fantastic for him this evening.
Absolutely, and a tough break for Ryan Helm. Something must have let go on the 15 as he is headed pit side, moving very slowly. But Larry Welling is just on a mission tonight. Larry has not won since Can-Am, probably 4 or 5 years ago, and he dominates this field early here with Delbert LeGros, Melvin Rush, and now Roy Tarbell splitting the difference between him and Jeff Sykes down the back straightaway into turn number 3.
Double Agro now sitting in second, but here comes Roy Tarbell knocking on the door, looking for that second place. Will he be able to run down the 77X, the 21 of Larry Welling Jr.? Now the 1X of Todd Stone will take it pit side.
And a tough break for Todd, too. And right now, up in front, Welling is checked out, but the battle is from second on back as the number 2 of LeGros has Roy Tarbell down to his inside. Jeff Sykes in that number 4 machine running in 4th, followed by Rabi, who has gotten down to the inside of Melvin Rush. He'll take away the 5th spot. Rush, Perry Francis, Kerry Terrance, Gage Morin, and Matt Billings, your top 10.
Jeff Sykes now looking to enter the fray as they continue to battle for the number 2 spot. LeGros holding very strong, but now coming on the bottom, the 4J of Jeff Sykes, able to get by the 007 of Roy Tarbell.
Lap traffic, not an issue at all for Larry Welling as he charges by both Derek Martin and the M20 of Rick Miller, but behind them, it is a battle for the number 2 spot. Sykes is down on the bottom side of the speedway. Wheel to wheel with Delbert LeGros into turn number 3, and LeGros will fall to the number 3 spot as Roy Tarbell right there in the 4th position. Rabi completes the top 5.
Chris Rabi now starting to close the gap between him and the 007 of Roy Tarbell. Now on the bottom, Tarbell tries to peek on the inside of Delbert LeGros. Delbert LeGros will shut the door. Jeff Sykes now gotten away a little bit here from Delbert LeGros, but the race at hand is Larry Welling Jr. all by himself.
In a class of his own out there in the 21. He's got the left front wheel flying in the breeze out there. Pushes up the racetrack just a little bit. He may have found a slick spot out there up underneath on turn number 4 as Sykes dipping down low, trying to do everything in the books to run down Welling at the halfway point.
The lap traffic will certainly be an issue for Jeff Sykes, but now a car slowing over on the pit lane. That is the 40 of Eric Govro. That'll bring out the yellow, and there's that lead. It is all lost now for Larry.
One time out there, but he's back in the number 10 spot. We're going to go back under green as Welling able to get the restart he was looking for, and he clears the M20 of Miller. Then Jeff Sykes along with Tarbell. Now Rabi digs down to the inside. So your top 4 drivers have cleared the lap machine of Rick Miller. So come down the front straightaway. Welling still in command of this one.
Chris Rabi now looking to go to the inside of the 007 Roy Tarbell. Our Tarbell's going to dip it down low. He'll bobble going into 1. He'll push a little bit. Rabi now cannot find that open door that he was looking for. Welling continues to lead, but Jeff Sykes now with that gap, that lead gone for Welling. Tim, he's able to find some room out here, going to look to go to the bottom or the top side.
And Jeff Sykes is right there with him, giving him all sorts of fits. Meanwhile, behind him, Rabi dives down to the inside, takes away the 3rd spot, and we got problems in turn number 2 as Casey Swamp has spun in turn number 2, and Melvin Rush got caught up in that mix, and he has gone from 7th all the way to about 13th or 14th.
The pass, it'll be to the top side coming out of turn 2. So let's see how I make out on my prediction.
Green flag flies. We are back underway. And Sykes going down to the inside. We'll have to wait and see. Rabi with a big move on the top side. He goes to 4th and closes quickly on Kerry Terrance as they work in turn number 4.
Now Kerry Terrance pushes up a little bit. That'll make Chris Rabbit get off the gas, but now Jeff Sykes to the bottom. He'll try to push up on Larry Welling, but Larry Welling's got too much for him coming out of 2.
And Kerry Tarrant's just about caught up in that mess as they head down the back straightaway. He got pushed way wide. Now Roy Tarbell and Perry Francis and Rabbit 3 wide coming off of turn number 4. And Tarbell all out of shape, gets it collected up behind Matt Billings.
Now Jeff Sykes dips to the bottom. He gets by Larry Welling Jr. The door is open. Kerry Tarrant's looking to make a stick in the bottom as they head into turns 3 and 4.
And Tarrant's with a bull move down on the bottom. He'll go to the number 2 spot. Now bring Chris Rabbit into the mix. We got a 4-car dance for the lead. 20 laps are complete. 5 more remain. And can Jeff Sykes hold on for win number 1 of the season? He will head through turns 3 and 4 this time, but he's got Tarrant's, Larry Welling, and Chris Rabbit after him off of turn number 4.
Kerry Tarrant's looking to throttle his machine to the high side, coming out of 2. Jeff Sykes continues to lead as they head down to the back stretch. Larry Welling Jr. rides in 3rd, Chris Rabbit 4th, Perry Francis in 5th.
As the field working into turns 3 and 4, Welling shoves up the racetrack, allows Rabbit to get on by for 3rd. Handling issues with the 21 could cost him this race. So they work down the back straightaway this time. This race is far from over. We've got 2 more laps left to decide it. This time by Jeff Sykes working the bottom. Kerry Tarrant's on the top side. Rabbit right there with him in 3rd.
Kerry Tarrant's trying to make his machine work to the top side. Jeff Sykes, he's found his groove. Coming out of 2, Sykes powers his way from Kerry Tarrant's. Kerry Tarrant's is going to have to try to set it back up into 3 and 4 to close some real estate.
White flag will be displayed this time by Jeff Sykes, the 2003 and 2006 track champion, looking to close on for his first ever feature win of 2011. He's down the back straightaway. He's got a comfortable margin on Kerry Tarrant's, who has got Chris Rabbit right behind him. Checkered flag is out. And the frustrations have ended. Jeff Sykes goes to victory lane. Kerry Tarrant's, Chris Rabbit, your top 3.
Well, as you mentioned, Tim, Jeff Sykes going back to his previous car from last season. Certainly the difference maker here tonight for him.
But with all that aside, Jeff Sykes ends the frustrations of his 2011 season back in victory lane. And this is what this team needed. And I mentioned the way the dirt car point standings are working out. Dave Bissonette actually leads the Mr. Dirt Car Pro Stock standings coming into this week. And we are underway. 35 laps is the scheduled distance, and Bissonette draws away down the back straightaway with the number 1 spot. Meanwhile, behind him, it is a toss-up as Mark Lalonde has the 2nd spot. Ricky Thompson, Dave Papineau right there behind him in 3rd and 4th.
The interesting thing you may see here, Tim, the bottom seemed to be the place to be for the dirt car modifieds, but so far the high side seems to be the place coming in, and a lot of the cars going to the high side now in this feature race.
And right now the Bulldog, Dave Bissonette, has his way with the field so far. We're only 2 laps into this one. 35 laps is a long time around this speedway in one of these pro stocks, but Bissonette, the way he has been going the last few weeks out there in that 47, we may just see him walk away with this one. But Mark Lalonde and Dave Papineau right there with him in the number 2 and 3 spots. And it's Joey Lattiser and Ricky Thompson. Thompson a little out of shape. That's going to allow for Oban to get by for 5th.
Papineau wiggled a little bit coming into turns 3 and 4, slid up the racetrack and cut off some distance there for Joey Lattiser. But now Lattiser is going to go to the high side. Rock Oban going to look to the inside of Papineau. But Dave the Bulldog Bissonette continues to lead.
As they come down the front straightaway, it is Bissonette your leader. Mark Lalonde having a good run so far in the number 2 spot. Rock Oban has been very fast so far in this feature go as he's alongside of Dave Papineau trying to get away and get into that number 3 spot. Joey Lattiser holds down 5th, and it's Thompson and Stefan LeBrun, Dion Oakes, the 17 of Rod Tarbell, and Louis Jackson rounding out your top 10.
So the Bulldog continues to lead. Mark Lalonde in 2nd, Rock Oban in 3rd. Now Oban's going to look to the bottom as he'll come into turns 3 and 4. Lattiser in pursuit. He'll stick it to the high side with David Papineau in chase.
As once again, as we mentioned, Dave Bissonette is marching away here down into turns 1 and 2 and down the back straightaway. The real battle is from second on back. Mark Lalone has the top spot, but Rock Olban would love nothing better than to get that one away from him. As they go into turns 3 and 4, it's Bissonette, your leader, but then it's a hornet's nest behind him for the number 2 spot.
Dave the Bulldog Bissonette has to be enjoying this, Tim. He's up there all by him lonesome. And if he had a rearview mirror, he could say, you know what, boys, continue to battle amongst yourselves. I'll just go up here and hide.
Well, the number 1 spot is a fun place to be, and if Bissonette had a mirror, he'd be able to see how big of a lead he does have and just kind of take his time out there. But when you see guys like Rock Ope and Joey Lattiser getting on by, you know you don't want to take your time. You want to drive as hard as you can and get as big of a lead as you can as they work in turn number 3.
But as we saw in the 358 Dirt Car Modified feature, for Larry Welling Jr., a big lead was built up, and the yellow flag decided to take it away. But Bulldog continues to lead now. Rock Oban starting to open up a little bit of gap between himself and the 92 of Joey Lattiser, but Lattiser is going to stick it to the bottom now. On the backstretch, it is Lattiser and Rock Oban as they head into turns 3 and 4.
And Joey Lattiser definitely closed that deficit in a hurry as he closes in on Oban to pick up the number 2 spot. Couldn't quite get it done, though, as he works down into turn number 1. He'll try to set him up coming off of 2. Goes to the high side of the speedway, trying to diamond the corner off down the backstretch. Couldn't quite get the run, though, as Obe has a strong piece up underneath him in turn number 3, but it's Bissonette all alone out in front.
So 35 laps is the question at hand. Now we are down to 11 complete laps. Bulldog Bissonette continues to lead. It is Oban and Joey Lattiser, the race to watch on the track for the number 2 spot. But right behind him is Lalone and the 188 of David Papineau as they continue to battle for that number 4 spot.
And down in front they hustle. Obe down on the bottom. Joey Lattiser going to the top side. Meanwhile, back in about 4th and 5th, Mark Lalone has the 4th spot, but he's got Dave Papineau right there with him in the number 5 position. Then it's Stefan Lebrun in 6th, and those 3 drivers right there having a pretty good tussle for that number 4 spot.
Certainly a 3-car race for the number 4 spot now as Stefan Lebrun has picked up his pace, but Bulldog Bissonette continues to grow and grow his lead. Oban and Lattiser. Lattiser now will try the high side. Oban will stick it to the bottom as they go into turns 3 and 4.
Down in front they go, and we not talk much about Bissonette because he is checked out on everybody, but the battle is for 2nd and 3rd along with 4th, 5th, and 6th right now, as Lattiser has done everything in the books to try to get around Obe. It is still early on in this feature go, but I tell you what, right now, Dave Bissonette looks very, very strong.
Now the bottom starting to come in for Joey Lattiser as they head into turns 1 and 2. Oban got to be very, very careful. The KG veteran, Joey Lattiser, right behind him, looking for that opening, whether it be the high side or the low side, as now Austin will display the get-out-of-the-way flag as we come around to complete lap 15.
And off of turn number 4, we got a battle for the number 4 spot as Stefan Lebrun is drawn alongside of David Papineau. Into turns 1 and 2 they go. Papineau on the top side, Lebrun down on the bottom. Mark Lalone right there behind this battle. Lurking behind him in the number 6 spot, Ricky Thompson is 7th, Dion Oaks is 8th, 9th, Jody Swamp. 10th is the 18 of Jackson, and Rod Tarbell completes the rest of the field.
Now, Joey Lattiser looked for something on the low side. He's going to go to the high side. Oban in 2nd. Bulldog continues to have a very, very lengthy lead here. Oban and Lattiser continue to battle for the number 2 position.
And back in that 4th spot, Dave Papineau is able to hold off Lebrun for the time being right here. But Lebrun's not done with him. He tried to go back downstairs on the bottom side of the speedway. Couldn't make the pass stick, though. Down the front stretch they hustle, and Dave Bissonette is the class of the field here in lap 19.
So lap traffic now will become the issue for the 4 of Oban and the 92 of Lattiser. Morgan David's going to drift to the high side and allow some room for them to get by him as they head into turns 3 and 4. Oban rides in 2nd, Lattiser in 3rd, Dave the Bulldog Bissonette, the class of the field. Exactly right, Tim.
15 laps left to go in this one, and we have been caution-free up to this point as Lattiser now trying to make something happen. He goes to the outside. Oban able to hold him off down the backstretch. What a battle this has been for the number 2 spot, and it's been going on pretty much since the drop of the green.
Well, 2 very, very excellent drivers. They campaign here as well. Oban campaigns here, and as well the Cornwall Motor Speedway Joey Ladouceur, longtime campaigner at the Cornwall Motor Speedway. Now Ladouceur is going to take it to the outside, coming out of 2. He's got it to drag race to turns 3 and 4.
And Ladouceur made a big move on the top side. Oban staying with him down on the bottom. They're going to race side by side off of turn 4, but it's Ladouceur, your new second place man, as they come up on lap number 22. Now he'll set his sights on trying to run down the very fast Dave Bissonette, but does he have enough time?
That is the question in hand now. The Bulldog build up a half a track lead. Ladouceur able to get by Rock Oban. But you wonder, has Ladouceur burned up his tires trying to make that pass on Oban, as the Bulldog just pacing the field here this evening, Tim?
And a change for the number 4 spot as Stefan Lebrun has finally gotten by Dave Papineau, who relegated himself to the number 5 spot. But up in front, Dave Bissonette will start to enter into lap traffic here very shortly. But Joey Ladouceur has cleared Rock Oban and is clearly trying to chase down Dave Bissonette.
Well, you have to wonder what's going through Dave the Bulldog's Bissonette mind right now, and I can think of one thing that is in his mind right now, Tim, and he doesn't want to see that yellow flag.
Oh, if he sees that yellow flag come out, it would be his worst nightmare. We got 10 more laps left to decide this one, and Dave Bissonette has seen nobody, nor has he heard anybody out there in that 47 machine, as his teammate Morgan David is headed pit side with the 47X. Up in front, though, Bissonette continues to lead him in the first and second corners as Ladouceur and Oban chase from second and third.
So, 9 laps to go. Can the Bulldog hold off the field? So far, so good for him. But Ladouceur looking to close that gap as he's widened the gap between him and the number 4 machine of Rock Oban.
And Bissonette will enter into lap traffic here as Rod Tarbell in the 17 is starting to slow on the top side. And he will keep it going. He stays to the outside on the back straightaway. Joey Ladouceur and Rock Oban coming up on the 17, and they will both get by cleanly as Tarbell takes it pit side, and we're still going to be green here on lap 28.
Rod Tarbell definitely deserves a big kudos for his racing tonight. He absolutely has done a fantastic job, did not bring out the yellow in either the heat race or the feature, so great job by him this evening to keep it going. No yellow flag, but the Bulldog, Bissonette, now starting to get into some lap traffic.
And he comes up on the back bumper of Louis Jackson in that number 18. And Louis Jackson, how many times have we ever said this in my announcing career, goes a lap down, well, albeit for a moment. He's still fighting to try to stay on the lead lap because should a caution come out, he'd get back on the lead lap and get back into this thing. And meanwhile, Bissonette gets held up by Morgan David as we got 5 laps left to go. Joey Ladouceur is definitely closing. He's closed it down to a straightaway.
Well, lap traffic was the issue in the sportsman feature this evening as Dylan Evoy able to come away with the victory. Now, Bissonette has to manage a couple more lap cars with 4 and the 4 to go.
And 31 laps up on the scoreboard, and he is having all sorts of issues trying to get by Louis Jackson. Joey Ladouceur, you can see that gap is starting to close, but does he have enough time to run down Bissonette? One thing about running down Bissonette, it's tough to get by him, though, with 3 laps to go.
So, Joey Ladouceur in second. The third place is the 4 of Rock Oban, the 6 of Stefan Lebrun, and the 188 and David Papineau rounds out your top 5. The Bulldog now. He's actually using lap traffic to his advantage. He's able to go into lap traffic and hide a little bit with only 2 laps remaining.
And the only other car in front of him is Jody Swamp, but tell you what, Joey Ladouceur is not that far behind him, but he's far enough behind him, and he's kind of comfortable right now, though. White flag will be displayed this time for the Bulldog. Can he get his 3rd win in the last 4 races?
Well, if you ask Joey Ladouceur after the race, he'll probably say, I didn't lose, I just ran out of laps, and that certainly was the case here this evening. But, wow, what a fantastic job by Dave the Bulldog Bissonette as he's got 2 more turns of the left wheel to come around to collect the checkers.
Win number 3 for the Bulldog. He'll take it. And a caution-free 35-lap event for the Bailey Motor Company Pro Stock Series. Joey Ladouceur, Rock Oban, your top 3. Then it will be Stefan Lebrun in the number 6. Dion Oaks gets by Dave Papineau on the final lap to grab the number 5 position. And I tell you what, the thing, and Joey Ladouceur will probably be kicking himself the rest of the weekend, knowing what could have been out there. But that's what happens in racing sometimes. Is you see Amy down there with the 50-50 tickets, and Bissonette will be drawing that number. And, of course, unfortunately, we don't have the trackside mic working right now, and we will get the number to you once it's drawn by our winner, Dave. Quite a good showing out here for our track crew to get this thing in at a reasonable hour and a quick time.
Just under 3 hours for 6 divisions of racing tonight, Tim. For 5. Definitely hard to beat that.
Absolutely. Green flag is out. Nolan Swamp of the 1 with the ON of Owen White. 37 of Daryl Mitchell. The 79 of Joe Jock. 22 of John Green. Corey Castell in the 28. 18 of Ernie Creed. Number 3 of Pete Tsunami. Glad to have him back with us. And the 3X of Mike Gaucher. That is your field. And Nolan Swamp, who has only made a handful of starts with us this year, would love nothing better than to get to victory lane. It's not that he hasn't been fast. It's just fact of luck. And he hasn't had any of it go his way. But right now, he's got things going his way so far in the early going.
Well, he'll have to contend now with the Owen White, last week's feature winner, as he's able to get by the 37 machine of Daryl Mitchell. But Nolan Swamp continues to lead now as we've got 2 laps in the book, 10 to go.
Nolan Swamp has the top spot. Owen White won 3 times this season. Would love to get win number 4 if he possibly can. Down the back straightaway, Daryl Mitchell right there with him in the number 3 spot. Then it's Joe Jock having a pretty good run in the 79 as he rides there in position number 4. John Green splits the middle between him and Ernie Cree, and Green trying to move up to the 4th spot.
John Green now will get by the 79 Joe Jock, as he recently got that car from Derek Colbert. But the race leader continues to be Nolan Swamp as they head into turns 3 and 4. Owen White rides in 2nd, Daryl Mitchell in 3rd.
And Swamp continues to hold down the top spot. Owen White, Daryl Mitchell pretty much separated themselves between the battle for 4th and 5th, which is hotly contested right now with John Green and Ernie Cree as they dice it up in 4th and 5th. Joe Jock right there in position number 6.
Now, John Green, the 22 blue machine, will have to contend with the 18 of Ernie Cree. Ernie Cree looking to go to the bottom as they come out of turns 4. John Green able to hang on to the lead for the moment, but here comes Ernie Cree.
5 laps are up on the scoreboard. 7 more remain in this one. And you are right, that battle for the number 4 spot is heating up out there as Ernie Cree gets it away from John Green. And Green will fall to the number 5 spot. Meanwhile, Joe Jock in the 79 continues to hold off Mike Gaucher for the 6th spot. Then it's Pete Tsunami and Corey Castell completing the rest of the field.
Well, as you had mentioned, Tim, and we had mentioned earlier, Nolan Swamp, when he runs here, he runs fantastic. And then usually those gremlins, those racing gremlins will eventually catch up to him. But so far, so good for Nolan Swamp as he continues to lead over Owen White.
Down in front, they hustle. It's Swamp, your leader. Owen White, 2nd. Daryl Mitchell doing a great job holding on to that 3rd spot. Ernie Cree back there in spot number 4. Mike Gaucher all over the back bumper of John Green for the number 5 spot. Joe Jock still having a great run in 6th, though. Up in front, looks like Daryl Mitchell starting to slow just a little bit as Ernie Cree ran him down in a hurry going into turn number 3. And Ernie Cree will now try to get the 3rd spot away from Daryl Mitchell down the front stretch.
Well, Daryl Mitchell pushed a little bit coming into 4. That opened up that bottom groove for Ernie Cree, which he wanted. But Owen White in 2nd, pedaling as fast as his legs can, trying to catch Nolan Swamp.
And a work off of turn number 4 this time with 3 laps left to go here, and Nolan Swamp looking to put it in the record books with Owen White chasing him down in that 2nd spot. Then it's Ernie Cree along with Daryl Mitchell in 4th. Meanwhile, Mike Gaucher trying to do everything in the books to get by John Green for that number 5 spot as Gaucher has got a very fast race car. Just cannot get by John Green as we've got 2 more laps left to go, and Nolan Swamp is led from the get-go.
Now Gaucher will power to the bottom, make a bonsai move in front of John Green as he will get the spot away from John Green as they make a little bit of contact in front of the flagger stand. The double matchsticks are out, 2 to go.
Coming around this time, white flag will be displayed, and can Nolan Swamp put all those gremlins behind him and pick up a feature win? He's got 1 more lap, 4 corners, and 2 straightaways left to decide it here. And Swamp has a huge lead on Owen White. It's back there in that runner-up spot. Then it's Ernie Cree, Daryl Mitchell, and Mike Gaucher.
Well, for Nolan Swamp, 2 left-hand turns remain. He comes into 3. Now he'll come out of the high side on 4, coming around to collect his first victory of the season, the number 1 of Nolan Swamp.
And it's about time for Nolan as Owen White will cross in 2nd, Ernie Cree in 3rd, Daryl Mitchell and Mike Gaucher in that order. And ladies and gentlemen, that will do it here on the series along with the Pro Stocks and the Bandits. Race time as always, 7:45. So on behalf of My good friend Brian Page, I'm Tim Baltz. Hopefully we'll see you right back here at the Speedway next Friday night. Good night, everybody.